All right. This past week has been absolutely insane. And by insane, I mean this beast right here. The old, oh geez, this thing is heavy as hell. It's an HP Xeon. Yeah. This guy. Now, I've been in the IT industry for over 2 decades, and HP workstations, like the big time workstations with Xeon processors and servers and such, they can be good in some situations, specifically if you don't know anything about hardware and you're just a software, you're there to do a job, or you have a ton of these systems and they're in like an entire virtualized environment with high availability. One host goes down, no big deal. Just set it to the side, call support. They'll send a technician out, they'll fix it. That works great in that environment. However, I did a video on it, and in my case, I do some hardware and obviously have competence in both hardware and software. And I am in Dallas-Fort Worth, so that means I have ability to just go get any part I want and slap it in here. You already see the problem, but to just re-emphasize it, check this. This is insane. All right, this thing's like 50 pounds. So if you look in here, you see this giant heat sink in the middle? That actually has a fan in it. And that fan is built inside of a shroud in between this proprietary heatsink. It's gone out. Now, normally you just would pop in another 120 mil fan and be on your way. But you can't do that with this system because all the power delivery for that fan is proprietary. So it has to be an official HP part from their service center. And I'm sure their tech will come and slap it in for me and everything will be great because it's not 3 years old and it has on-site warranty built into it. Yeah, that sucks, especially if you're relying on this system. So today, obviously we're not using this, but it's such a simple thing. It's like a $20 part. I know what to replace, but I can't do anything about it. I'm sitting here with my hands tied, and I was just like, screw it, I'm just gonna rebuild everything. So I stripped everything out of this system. I tossed an old graphics card in here. It's like a 1660, just so whenever the tech shows up, he has something to do it. I even set him up a little workbench so he can just do it. And then HP techs are just plenty competent for the most part. And I don't have any worries about him being able to fix the system. It's just fixing the system and getting the right parts in, because that one part that I just showed, that heatsink in the middle, is there's only one SKU in the world that can fit in this system, and it has to be that part. So of course he's gonna have to order it, and that's gonna mean 3 to 5 business days probably, even with even though I'm in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, which is a very, very commercial hub. And you know, he'll probably be back maybe later today, maybe tomorrow, maybe later the week. I don't really care at this point, because the system, to me, you're dead to me. You're dead to me. Just dead to me. This silly system. But it's not to say it's a bad system. It's just, it doesn't work for my needs, is the best way to put it. I think it'll work great for some business out there. I'll probably resell it. It retails at $5,400. I'm not gonna get near that on the resale market. I'll be lucky if I get 2, but I don't care. That's kind of what it is. So you got to know what you're doing. For a business out there, this is a great solution. For my business, terrible. Even though it's fine. So what did I replace it with? Everything generic. Anything I can run down to a Best Buy and get replacement parts now. So I don't know if you're gonna be able to see that or not. Maybe. Yeah, you can kind of see it right there. That's kind of what I replaced it with. Now you're probably thinking, Titus, why'd you go with a white case? I didn't. I went into a Best Buy and that's what they had. And I was like, I just got to get this up and going because I want to stream today and I want to do it on my Linux box. So I just grabbed the white case, whatever was available. And then my 13th gen Intel, I slapped it in there, got that going, replaced all the PSUs because I actually had a power supply go out in there. I thought it was the 13th gen Intel, even made a tweet about that. I was wrong. It would actually end up being the power supply. So, what a pain in the ass all this was. But at the end of the day, it worked great, you know, and that's rebuilt. My inside PC got rebuilt. It was using the Intel, but no longer. And that one in there is now using a Ryzen 7800 X3D. And this one over here is the 13th gen Intel. I think it's an i7. We can take a look at it. We'll pop on the desktop here in a second. I also swapped the GPUs. So most people remember I had a 4070 Super in here. That also was swapped out to an AMD 7800 XT. That 4070 Super went to the inside PC. So I've switched out the processor, motherboards, and GPU and CPUs for all of the installs. Now, normally most normal people would just reinstall at this point, but I'm anything but normal. So what I ended up doing was I essentially reconfigured all of my Linux, my Windows systems. Windows was quite easy to do these massive replacements and very versatile. So most times I crap on Windows. In this instance, worked great. Now for the Linux, it was much more difficult. There's a couple nuances that I don't think really, I couldn't find very good documentation. We're gonna make that today. We're gonna write up, so let's say you in the future need this, you'll have like a resource for it. Because first off, Linux, at least my Linux, did not rebuild its UEFI or EFI entry into the new motherboard. So when I booted up, all I had was Windows with two NVMEs, one Windows, one Linux. The Windows read, the Linux did not. So I had to recreate that EFI entry. Second thing, switching cards from an NVIDIA to an AMD, totally different. AMD uses different drivers, much like it would in Windows, but instead of defaulting to a generic driver, it caused a lot of issues. So I had to rip out all the NVIDIA stuff through the TTY and then reinstall all the AMD drivers. And then swap all those different packages that each one uses. So AMD is going to use Mesa. I don't think I was using AMD VLK, but we'll take a look. I got all the documentation and everything I used to fix it, so we're going to write down a really good how-to on that. And then I'm trying to think of anything else I had. Oh, and then switching the U codes. So you have an Intel U code and you have an AMD U code with Linux, swapping those out. So it performs pretty well. And I think I also had some problems with MKInit CPIO, which is what gets loaded into RAM before the Linux root gets loaded. MKInit CPIO, I learned a lot more about that and how that integrates in, specifically when you have massive hardware changes and you have to rebuild it. So kind of go into that and kind of document that as well. So wow, a lot to go over, but holy crap, what an experience all this was. It was really, really eye-opening and I learned quite a bit and I think it's gonna be really good for many people out there. So with all that said, let's get into it. Wow. Wow. But I'm pretty happy. I mean, we're only talking a couple days here and not only did I learn all this, everything's still working. The Arch Linux install, I think we're at like 500 days. Let's go check. All right. Whew. Oh yeah, secure boot is also can be a problem for many folks out there. I never have used Secure Boot. I never have liked Secure Boot, so I always avoid it. Now, I know what some people are saying already. They're like, but Titus, what about Battlefield 6? I don't like installing viruses on my system. So, I don't play Battlefield 6. I don't play Valorant because I won't install viruses on my system. You're like, Titus, those are games, not viruses. I know you think that, but to me, anything that installs at the kernel level is a virus. If it is not related to the operating system and it needs to install at the kernel level, that is a virus. That is straight up malware. I'm not installing malware on my system. Absolutely not. Oh, I'm delivering my next Windows quiz. Even more questions, even more learning, even more fun. All right, Coding Wonders. We liked the quiz from last time. That was a lot of fun. How's it going, Abs? Love from Rajistan. Oh, I'm sorry, I totally butchered that, but thanks, man. Appreciate it. Thanks for joining the members, Ra, over on YouTube. Sorry, I was yapping. I was yapping about this whole setup, and it was, yeah. What a last week. But I mean, you know, this week is looking up. Sorry, I'm a little late today on the stream. It was just beautiful out. It was 70 degrees. I wanted to go for a bike ride, so I went on a 10-mile, just quick warm-up bike ride before the stream, and I was like, wow. Just absolutely gorgeous outside here. So enjoy the weather. How's it going? Situation X. All right, well, cool. Let's take the quiz from old Coding Wonders, the Windows knowledge. Now, if you're not familiar with Coding Wonders, let's go Dark Reader on, just so we don't have too many complaints. I know some people are sitting there in their dungeon and they don't like the bright lights, so I'm gonna dark mode it for you guys. Cody Wonders is the main contributor behind MicroWin. He's did quite a few for probably 2 years now, coding, something like that, for the contributions for MicroWin. MicroWin was originally implemented by Conti, and then Coding Wonders pretty much took it over. Conti did like a rough in for it, and then I kind of massaged it a little bit, and then Coding Wonders kind of came in, and he's done a great job with it. He also has DISM tools he's the author of. If you want like a more in-depth DISM or modifying the image, check out DISM tools. He's the main author of that as well. So let's see, Coding Wonders, what do we got? London taxi drivers have to take the knowledge to memorize all the streets of London. Well, this is the Windows equivalent. Answer correctly and you'll be an expert in Windows. Man, I wish I was. Let's see. Otherwise, well, at least you learned a thing or two. Hopefully we'll learn a thing or two. Check out my software and contributions. You can see Coding Wonders. Dude, I dig the banner here for your portfolio, for your DSIM tools, Wim Explorer, unattended generation. Now this is cool if you're doing generations. Now, what was the website I always used for unattended generation? There's a website I've always used in the past, so I'll have to try out this project by Coding Wonders as well, because I've always used the generator from, God, I'm drawing a blank. Online, but yeah. Sasha, how you doing? Does he have a YouTube channel? I don't know if Coding does. I don't think he does, and that's okay. You know, a lot of people don't. Like, YouTube's just kind of weird in a lot of ways, because you have to have like audio, video skills, and camera presence, which is a little bit odd mixture, especially with technical people. So a lot of technical people can't speak, and most of the people that can speak, well, usually aren't all that competent. I strike a nice middle ground to that.
Well, to do the
I'm gonna put a YouTube link
for you to see either here or in your spare time. It's about a new penguin enjoyer or designer. Yeah. Paste it in chat there, Blackstar. Golden Eagle. Thank you for the super chat. Is the Windows utility a lifetime purchase? It is. Forever and ever. But with it, I do have to say, it's just me. So if I get hit by a bus, it's just not going to get updated. So the more you know. That's the one downside, I suppose. I don't have like a team of people, and I'm always obsessed. Now, a lot of people take that as hey, I want to build out a huge business, or I want to hire more people, or I'm going to get an editor. There's a lot of things that people talk about on streaming or YouTube, whatever tickles your fancy there. For me, I really just love doing this by myself, and I'm kind of like at this point like semi-retired, where I work 1 day a week in a day job and I just do YouTube videos when I can, and I like to stream. So I like to stream 3 days a week, which if you're new here and you've never actually known, we started out and we now have a stream schedule to where Mondays Linux, Tuesdays Windows, and then Thursdays Mac. And we'll do things in each operating system on those days. And it'll give a little more variety to the streams, where I think for a while there, I has been doing DWM, which later in the stream, we're going to get into DWM. I actually did a big update this past weekend. I think Saturday, Sunday, I did a big commit to fix dual monitor workstations and title bars. So when you have multiple monitors and actually fixing that's kind of what we do. So, very cool. How do I re-download it? Let me show you real fast, Golden Eagle. Thank you so much for the super chats. So from here, you just go cttstore.com. You can figure out where I got that domain idea from. Thanks. Here. Oh, look, I got something from him right here. Here's the LTT screwdriver. That's from no relation. LTTstore.com. Anyways, hey, it was a good idea. So anyways, yeah, cttstore.com. Come in here, click on the little man in the upper right hand corner here, and then you just sign in with your email that you used to purchase it. And then from there, you can actually go into the order and then re-download it at will. So you can re-download it now. You can re-download it in 2-3 years. This is, there forever for you. So you can always re-download, or if I do like an update, I don't know if I'm going to do a push on the next update I do for the executable, just because I think I'll wait like at least 2 weeks to a month after I update the executable, just so, gosh, the antivirus, those submissions were such a beating. I had to submit samples to Malwarebytes, Windows, Bitdefender, ESET, just everybody and anybody to get those on the allow list, so they would no longer flag. So if you do download the executable and it flags it as a virus, update your definitions. You're probably using old definitions and you need the new updated definitions, but all those did put me on the allow list, so that should download just fine. Oh man, I just noticed this. IXIO. I loved IXIO. It went down. Sad to say. I need to host something. Right now I think I have a haste bin still, where if you're not familiar, bin.christitus. I think that's my Glance server, actually. That's a whole different project. Okay, yep, that was my Glance server. Let's go bin. Yeah, this was the haste bin. That was like ix.io, to where you could submit things directly and then get links for it. So yeah, when LTT, CTT, yeah, whenever he gives me a shout, I'll fly up there. I'm about to publish a book for Linux, and we're going to actually do some commits to the book today, thelinuxbook.com. Been working on this. We're going to do some more submissions today, specifically when motherboards change, CPU changes, and GPU changes, probably fill out the Linux hardware compatibility section and changing hardware. We're going to add a changing hardware and how to properly swap, make EFI boot entries, probably expand out the bootloader section a little bit with EFI boot MGR, which I don't think I have anything here. No, we just have update grub, and then we also have grub mkconfig, but we do not have, we'll put it in between EFI installation with grub install, which was about, it's going to write using EFI boot MGR, but we're going to add another, you can do it manually. Like everything in Linux, there's not like one way of doing it. There's like 20. And honestly, every operating system's like that. Like Windows has like a gajillion different ways of doing stuff as well. And I just like putting all the different methods so then you can kind of pick what works for you. So yes, we'll build that out as well. So that's very good. Very good. Anything else here? Abs, thank you so much for gifting the tier tier 1 subs. But yeah, man. Oh, I tell you. Can you run fast fetch? I want to know exactly the hardware, because it means, because if you use it, it means it works 100% on Linux. Yeah, I think that's an important thing. Also, I left this up. We have to fix the ghosty config. I think I screwed something up there too. Let's fix that real fast, actually. 1 second. That'll take me just two shakes. Cool. All right, that's fixed. Yeah, Ghosty changed the config to where it's now cap sensitive on the theming. So their built-in Nord theme requires a capital N, not a lowercase, for the start. So if you do have problems with Ghosty theming, that's a thing. The more you know. That happened on the last update. And I was coming in here for the fast fetch. So we are using 13th gen i7 13700K. Now, if you do use this, make sure your BIOS is up to date. This is in the danger zone as far as the CPU that if you didn't update your BIOS, it could burn up. So make sure you're on a recent BIOS. If you're on 13th gen, was it 13th and 14th gen? I'm sure chat could fill me in on that. I'm not too up to date. I just look at what my hardware is and then I just kind of do it. Yeah, 13th and 14th gen. Just make sure you're updating your BIOS properly on that. So yeah, very, very good on that side of things. We are using a 1080 at 60 hertz. That seems wrong. What are we doing? Well, let's fix that. I was wondering, I was thinking, man, my eyes, maybe I didn't get enough sleep. I'm sitting here squinting. 60 hertz. My old man eyes can't do 60 hertz anymore. Let's look at auto start, shall we? And fix that while we're here as well. If we look, set refresh. Oh, snap. What is this? Oh, this is HDMI-2. We got DP. Huh. Well then. So this one's a pretty... let's just copy that. Do an HDMI 2. And let's just delete the rest of that line. Okay, so we're just going to simplify this a little bit. Perfect. And then I think we can just set refresh. Is that in there? I don't think I added this to the menu. Set refresh. Okay, yeah, it's there. Yeah. Trying to think of how to run a desktop file. How do you run a desktop file from... Is it just XDG open? I don't think that's it. Oh, heck, let's see. No. Ah. So anyways, I'll run that here in a second. 1 second. Let me catch up with chat here. All right. Been reading stuff on DWM2. Started watching the Bread on Penguins. It's so great. There's so many new Linux creators too doing content. It's always good to see some. Did you see the video where Steve from Gamers Nexus is talking about doing marks on Linux on the regular? That's good to see, Bob. I think Jay's 2 cents is going to do that as well. He mentioned that I'd like to see them get away from the tried and true, just using like 3D Mark and or maybe just in complement to 3D Mark, not necessarily getting away from it, but doing like the Phoronix test suite. I really like the Phoronix test suite. I think it does a pretty good job of painting a good picture, and everyone can use it. Like the 3D Mark stuff is cool looking, don't get me wrong, and it's neat they got leaderboards,
Well,
but you know,
to do the vibes.
yeah. Hello, I noticed a few weeks ago that your Omarchy Rice install in Linutil is broken. Have you noticed it, and are you planning to fix it? Thanks. Oh, Kozel. Let's fix that real fast. While I'm thinking about it, I appreciate the super chat there, sir. Let me just fix that for you. Let's first make sure our project is up to date. Now, Omarchy, what do we got? So the arch setup for Omarchy was this way. And I think I was doing like a customized one. The problem with Omarchy is that it keeps changing. So at, you know, new projects, that's just typically how it rolls. So I think what we'll do here, let's look. Right now I was doing like a Titus repo on top of the other one, and then we were going in that way with it. I think instead we're gonna do, let's do something a little different. This one's a setup. I want to say I had, can we do just a straight curl and set it up? I want to say I had problems with that. So let's test it in like a VM. Omarchy actually did install in a VM for me, so I'm gonna delete all my customizations for Omarchy. We're gonna go to stock because I'm not really using it anymore, and I want to make sure it retains the install. So let's actually, looking at that, was there another Omarchy? Oh, there was not. Yeah, that was a mistake on my part. All right, let's fix it. Omarchy, and let's go, I think it's manual. Now he wants you to do the ISO fresh install. Probably just a good starting point, especially for noobs coming over. Most people don't want to do a bash script, and that way he can kind of control the install, so it makes sense. So manual install, download that, make sure you're connected, run arch install, pick these options. That's right, he likes to do encryption by default. Now if you use my method, instead of doing arch install, just do arch server install direct, and we'll test this out real fast. Bootloader, I've never used this bootloader. What the hell is that? See, this is why I like checking what DHH picks it. Like, sometimes I disagree with him. Actually, a lot of times I do with his Linux picks, because I kind of like the more legacy stuff, and he likes like the new whiz-bang stuff, which isn't typically as stable as the older legacy stuff. So I prefer stability and older, where he'll go for more modern and flashy. And that does have sacrifices in performance and also bugs, but it does look cool. So I love that kind of back and forth, and I love picking out some stuff that he chooses. So this is interesting. I've never done this bootloader. What is it? It's demonstrated here. Oh God, he always picks weird. How do you say it?
In limine.
In limine.
In limine.
In limine. Okay, in limine. But there's no in before the limine. Are we sure? Just limine. Yeah, there's no in beforehand. So limine. Limine. Oh, sorry. I totally closed out of that, didn't I? So what's the big deal about this one? Oh. Okay. But why? I wonder why he chose this over like a grub. I guess because it's... Yeah, I don't know. Maybe something with how he does encryption, and maybe Limine does a better job with it. I don't know. That's interesting. Fonts and etc. I mean, I really like my grub look. Yeah. Well, it is a Linux day coding. We might save the Windows. I think we'll save the Windows one for tomorrow, for the Windows day. Let me bookmark this actually. We're gonna save this for the Windows day tomorrow. Since that's the Windows day. It's Linux day. Let's not corrupt it. That, and we got a lot to do. Specifically looking at this. So yeah, that's interesting bootloader. Anyways, sorry, I got sidetracked. Root authentication, that. All right, we got the encryption. And then it's just curl, fizzle. Yeah, let's try this. Now, when he asks for your email during this install, people freak out. It's not like with his Hey product, and he's not like trying to do any analytics. That whole thing is just setting up Git, Git, as in GitHub, and that isn't required. You can always cancel out if you don't want to put the email. If you don't use Git, you can just not fill that section out. So a lot of people do freak out when they set up Omarchy for the first time. Just know that's a thing. All right, well, cool. Let's just edit this. I think this won't work, but I can't remember what problem I was having. Yeah. Limine and role config is great. Oh, that's why. That's why he did it. For secure boot. I could totally see if Limine holds secure boot, that's why. Chris, admit it. You cried when Artex gave up in the Swamp of Sadness. Of course I did. Who didn't cry during that scene in The Neverending Story? You have no heart, no soul if you didn't cry when Artex the horse dies. What are you doing? Weekend was good, by the way. Doesn't pay our Windows people any attention. I love my Windows people, but it's Linux Day. You know, Linux Day. I love Linux, man. I will say, you know, I always struggle with this when I first started YouTube too. The whole like Linux YouTube sphere was always kind of interesting to me because it's two vastly different people between Linux and Windows. And you know, the Linux people are kind of crazy, but instead of crazy, that's more negative connotation. Let me rephrase. The Linux people are more passionate about their operating system, and they have a lot of opinions. And when you are messing around in Linux, feelings can get hurt. And I'm talking really hurt. Like, people come after you. Like, I remember when I made my Linux tier list, you know, I still have security cameras pegged. I still think one of them's going to show up because I said Kali Linux is a terrible distribution. So I'm always looking out for the weirdo Kali Linux users that pop out and yell at me. Even though they're probably script kiddies, you know. but you know, yeah, it's just two different types of people typically for that. But I think there's also a third type of person that uses both Linux and Windows, and that is your IT administrators out there that typically go between the realms. So I'd say there's three types of people that watch me, and it's kind of fun. So we get a little bit of both across there. Edge, thanks for the Prime. I heard there was drama in NixOS. Man, NixOS always has drama, man. Those guys are like drama whores, man. That's just NixOS in general. Well, at least I think they got some funding, so at least they're not going to go away. Because a while there, I think I made a video because I got a job offer for like $300K or something stupid to administer an entire business on NixOS. And I was like, what the hell is NixOS? And then that's when I did that video, because I was like, well, I'm going to learn about it. If someone's offering me that much money to do it, let's see what this thing has to offer. But NixOS is a really interesting distribution, and I like it. It's a good distribution for sysadmins and people deploying across like a whole bunch of workstations. I think it really makes sense in that regard. For me personally, for actually using it for gaming and just content creation and other stuff here, it'd just be kind of boring because it's just one config file that I like, and changing it every bit, it's just kind of cumbersome and not great for a single user, I don't think. Those Linux users use Windows for playing games 100%, but they just won't admit it. Edge.
Yeah, well, to do the buy.
You know, you got to go back and forth here. Basil, thanks for the tier 1. I want to show something, because I would consider myself I kind of go between the lines between Linux and Windows. Like, a lot of people like, are you a Linux user? Some Windows people are like, oh, you're a dirty Linux user. Some Linux people are like, you're a dirty Windows user. And there's a story here, and I actually want to pull up my, oh God, I'm going deep here. Profile, Steam profile. Let's see. Let's search for Titus Maximus. Oh, no. Titus. Oh, dang it. What was my alias? Nope. Huh. Was there anybody with was it in? Oh God, I don't even remember what. No. Well, geez. Oh, I know it. I'll just pull it up on Steam. That'll tell me. Where is old Steam? Did I not have Steam on here? Oh, I think when I forgot. When I redid my graphics, I think it uninstalled Steam. Oopsies. 1 second. Let's reinstall Steam here. My bad. But yeah, there was actually a thing I wanted to show because I think I was using Windows mostly. However, I think this is going to be the first year, mark your calendars, in 2025 where Linux, I will have gamed more in Linux than Windows. In my 7 years of using both operating systems, this is the first year Linux actually is more than 50%. Dub, thanks for the prime. Have you updated your utility for 25H2? Yeah, we should be good for 25H2 Holy, but we're going to look to see what happens on release. I think we have a couple pull requests and stuff, but we'll be tackling the WinUtil tomorrow for Windows Day. Windows Day. 1 second. I think I gotta set up my Steam. If so. So one time, why I have the anti-dock screen up, which I do often forget to do, and then bad things. Sometimes it requires me to log in, and I actually had someone log in as me, or log in on my computer using their the QR code that came up, and I was like, uh-oh. Okay, let's see. Is it gonna require me to log in? Maybe? Maybe not. Yep. I thought it was gonna do that. 1 second, let me get my two-factor here. The old two-factor. Gotta love it. But it does prevent people from, stealing your stuff, so you gotta love two-factor. Just kind of makes things a little bit more of a pain in the butt. Alright. Should be logging in now. Hot dog, there we go. Alright, here we go. So, what does my Steam replay looks like? I have 2 years of Steam replay, so you're going to see how much I use Windows and how much I use Linux by year. Now, most of my gameplay here for these 2 years was Age of Empires 4. Fantastic RTS, love it. And I kind of bounced back and forth for some of this and played some on Steam Deck. But let's start with 2023, and you're going to see the split between Linux and Windows. Because at the end of the day, most people that talk a big game on YouTube, what they end up doing is just saying, oh, well, I play everything on Linux, of course. Oh, nobody uses Windows. Well, as a guy that plays multiple amounts of different kinds of games, there's times where Windows makes sense and where Linux makes sense. So let's see here. What was my split? So my playtime split here
Look, I want to say,
was
super people, so
32% on the Steam
thanks
Deck.
for thinking of me.
Thank you, 47 for the YouTube streaming membership. 65% Windows and 2% Linux desktop. So obviously, during this era in 2023, my Linux desktops were really not being utilized very much for this. Now, you could see, obviously was testing a lot of games in Linux, probably for YouTube, and I just wasn't playing them in Linux. Windows, 23 games played, and then Steam Deck, 28 games played. So it's kind of funny to see the split for 2023. Now, let's go forward to 2024. I imagine this is going to be more Windows-based because I was mostly playing, I think, Age of Empires 4 during this era for last year. So let's take a look. Now, this has been updated in recent times for Age of Empires 4, and I want to say most of my Age of Empires 4 was most of my gameplay for the whole year. So this is probably going to be, some Fallout 76. I know, don't judge me. Some Path of Exile, and then just a little bit of Warframe. Oh, and then they launched some like old EverQuest 2 server I was on for a hot second. So this is my full game time, and the play time this time you can see overwhelming Windows, actually. Now, you could have done a patch for Linux to fix the desync that happens in multiplayer. But when I was playing this game, I didn't really need Linux, and I already had Windows loaded up, so why wouldn't I just use Windows where it was 100% compatible with no changes to the stock config? And I never had to worry about desync or an update screwing things up. So I just used Windows because I was doing competitive gaming in Age of Empires 4 on the ladder, and I didn't want to risk it. So a lot of times Windows was my preferred one last year. Only 12% on that, a little bit more on Linux desktop, and then you can see the game split. But this tells you the tale that I am still using Windows primarily for gaming. And this year, I want to say is probably 90%, probably like 50% Linux, 30% Steam Deck, and I would probably say 20% Windows. Hard to say what it's going to end up being, but we're going to have to see 2025. I will say between Steam Deck and Linux, it will be the majority for the very first time in my Steam history. So kind of fun. What two-factor do I use? Mostly YubiKey is my favorite two-factor. Yeah, Steam Deck's technically Linux, so you can kind of combine the two if you like. But it's kind of interesting to see kind of the dynamic between the two. And also, I think I've changed a little bit as a person where I like, I would say this year, it's more of, I really have enjoyed more casual gaming and more laid back gaming. So instead of being at the computer with my mouse and keyboard, a lot of my gaming is more casual. And because of that, I obviously have no problems with Linux. It's easier, it's faster. I can go and do my stuff on it much easier. So I enjoy that side of things. And that's why I think skewed more to the Linux realm. But if I was still doing really hardcore gaming, and let's say I was doing a lot of competitive shooters, this would still be predominantly Windows. So it just depends on the person. And I kind of wanted to show these so you can see like the real applications. This is the whole point of like a lot of the live streams too, is just so you can see what is actually going on. KO, thanks for becoming a YouTube supporter. Chris, did you train under tutelage of a master, Sensel Steven Seagal, Master Aikido? Something like that. Something like that. Chris, do you have time for being a guest on my channel? Been a while. Yeah, Tech. For sure, Zeros. Reach out to me on Discord. You got my Discord. We'll pop on from time to time. I don't have a lot of time these days, but we can chat for an hour. I always love chatting with you. Titus, must-try game is Satisfactory. I think you'll like it. It's relaxing. Hours go by like that. Yeah. All right, Holy. I'll try it out. I've been trying to get into like RimWorld and that type of style world building, like Dwarf Fortress. I could see me enjoying that a lot too. It's Linux Day. Factorio. Yeah, I've heard a lot of people. So yeah, I need to do that for sure. All right, so we've installed Steam over here. Omarchy, we still got to test. Let's test this addition real fast. Let's just do a cargo run. I want to see if it actually launches and we have input for Omarchy. Let's recompile Linux utility. I did get a comment the other day on YouTube saying, do I have a Linux utility like Windows utility? This is essentially that, if you're unfamiliar. And the idea is to make a one-click install where you can actually do multi-select and then select everything you want and then hit enter for install. So like, let's say you wanted bottles, Ghosty, Rofi, and then you could hit enter and then it would just install all of them at one go. So it's kind of a neat way of doing it. Let's come to Arch, and the Omarchy Rice is what we fixed. Someone mentioned, probably long gone from now, but I still care. Let's see. So let's go yes. That does look like it's working. Let's close that. I do not want to install all that. Was that still going? Okay, cool. Just 1 second here. What were we installing there? I didn't want to go crazy. The one thing about Omarchy. Okay. Yeah, it did install the Omarchy repository. Yaru icon theme. What am I using now? I might actually use that. Yeah, I think that's all fine. Let's just update our system real fast. What was the runtime too, by the way? 520 days. Look at that, guys. I'm pretty sure that's a new record for me. Arch Linux, 520 days. We've gone through motherboards, CPU swaps, GPU swaps, multiple different installs, and it just keeps going. Oh, it feels so good. Oh man, what a journey. You know me, I'm always trying to break things. I do not shy away from running what I shouldn't run. Oh, they told me not to do something? Let's go do it. Let's see. I love that. So right here, we're testing the Linux utility Omarchy install. We're going to do a test install on a virtual machine. Right now, we're just doing a update of the system. I actually kind of want to show you the new boot process of this system as well. Since we have a whole new motherboard, the beauty of ditching the HP, we don't have that long post anymore. We don't have that massive post, and then sadly, you guys can't make fun of me for it saying HP Wolf Security anymore. I kind of miss it. I'm gonna miss you guys ribbing me. Maybe I'll like do a custom flash and still have HP Wolf and like blow it up and make it rainbow colored or something so y'all can make fun of me. Maybe grab like a furry head and toss it on the BIOS. I don't know. I'm gonna miss it. I'm gonna miss y'all making fun of me for the HP Wolf Security pop-up. Oh, and when I did this update too, by the way, I was getting some warnings when it was going through the MK CPIO build. Like that's what it's doing right now, by the way. And when a lot of people misunderstand what this init RAM FS is, this is built using MK init CPIO. Why is that important? Why does it install this image into the boot partition? If you're unfamiliar with Linux, a lot of times you're like, what is that doing? And essentially what MK init CPIO or init RAM FS file, this right here, this little image file, and if we look at the boot, you can see it's only a couple, this is actually a couple hundred megs, damn. But this one right here is only 45 megs. So I don't know why that fallback is so darn big. Good Lord. But regardless, like if you do a stock Linux install with the inner, it should be closer to like 40. I digress. This essentially loads the essential drivers and hardware before it can load and mount all of your drives and do the system init. So this is before system D gets put in and initialized. Essentially what this image is, or this little bit, is the absolute core essentials to get your computer to boot. So if you screw up your MK init CPIO, your system will not boot. So pay attention to the warnings and other things that happen here, because if it's a warning and it's not loading, let's say your GPU driver, or it's not loading your network driver, that might be required during the boot process and your boot may fail because it didn't build it and put those essential things before the actual root and everything is loaded, before systemd is even run. And that's really important to kind of know. So pay attention to this. If you get like warnings or errors, you might look at cleaning those up, because that's what the system is first loading before the full Linux system gets. Essentially, I don't think this remains in memory. I want to say it gets purged when systemd completely loads, and then it takes over. But I do know for the initial load, it is absolutely critical. So that's my rudimentary explanation. Not great. Probably should have done a better job, but the more you know. I don't think there's any questions here. Thoughts on DWL? I've been using it for a bit and I really like it over DWM. Okay, Epic Brain. I'm not a big Wayland fan. I really don't like Wayland. I like Xorg a lot better, mainly because it's much more minimal, requires less packages, and it seems to work a lot better for my needs. Where Wayland makes sense, I think, is if you have a high refresh rate monitor, maybe. Even more than that. I think a high resolution monitor, like a 4K monitor, would be really where it could shine because of scaling. I think it does scaling better when it comes to Wayland. Also, HDR. If you need HDR, I think Wayland is the only one that does HDR. I'm trying to think of other things Wayland does that might justify it. But those are the two big ones that I know of and I don't use. So obviously Xorg makes more sense to me and it just works better. It's cleaner, it's faster, it uses less packages, and why would I switch from something that works great to something that doesn't work so good? Like when I was on Wayland specifically, I was getting bleed through effects where there's permissions issues, synergy didn't work, drag and drop can kind of get a little finicky for some odd reason. And I documented all this in a video I made as well. And I'm trying to think of any other issues I was having with Wayland where I specifically just didn't enjoy it. I think there's one more thing, but I can't remember it off the top of my head. The thing I really liked about Hyperland's implementation on Wayland was I could specify monitor serial numbers and say, when you see this monitor serial number, you can put it in this specific place. I did really enjoy Hyperland's configuration in that regard. But at the end of the day, it just didn't work as well for me. Omar Chi config, need to preserve mine how? Away from updating. I think if you go into .config and hyper and you edit the files there, the Omarchy shouldn't overwrite those. $17.60 days. All right, Zero. I love it. That's great. I'm using Debian 12 with DWM using a portable mSATA drive. How can we make to run on every x86, x80, every 64-bit machine? Probably do a generic install. I think you could do it for the most part, as long as the machines are somewhat similar. If there's drastic hardware differences between one machine to the next, it won't work off of just one image. Unless you do some kind of setup. So if you're deploying to a whole bunch of different machines, I'm trying to think of the best way to do that from a workstation perspective. Probably like an Ansible setup with a playbook would be my recommendation. I know that would set up pretty well. If you want to do a lot of imaging on Linux, there's the Fog project, if you have ever seen that. Fog project. It's a free and open source utility, but it's a open source network computer cloning and management solution. Essentially what you can do, I would always set this up on a closed network, and then I would do TFTP pushes of image. So what that means is I could just grab a new laptop, plug it in, hit boot from the network, and then it would just sit there and image the whole system, and I would just not even have to touch it. So I just update the image about once every 3 to 6 months, depending on what Windows is doing, because we were always imaging Windows back then. And Fog was great. It was a free project and a fantastic one. If you need to image and send out to a bunch of different systems, you can do it on the free there, and it's great. Can you do a reaction video of No, I don't do reaction videos for the most part. Can I use Windows 10 after the updates stop? Yeah, you can use Windows 10, but the big issue with using Windows 10 after its end of life is specifically security problems that you're going to run into. You're going to be easily hacked. So that's the problem. Have both microcodes boot with a failbox image. It will work on most systems. That's true. Yeah, you could do both the Intel-U code and also the AMD-U code packages. It will make your image a little bigger, but I think that would be mandatory if you're imaging that many systems that might swap between the two different architectures. What you working on? Working on Rust. Oh man, you've oh. Now that looks cool. Look at that. Getting fingerprints and enrolling people. I like it. Using Wayland. Oh, let's not scroll down there. You never know with Imager. Not trying to get banned here. That's cool though. Fingerprint enroll. So you're gonna do different fingerprints to log into systems. I mean, that's pretty neat. I dig it, Zero. Heck yeah. It doesn't exist on Arch, so I'm creating. Wow, I look forward to seeing it. I'll grab a little Fido fingerprint reader and try it out, man. I'd love that. I might test this today. Oh god, you guys are always giving me good stuff here. What's this? Omarchy theming application. It's kind of cool. Like so many people are taking DHH's thing and writing different projects alongside it. I was kind of doing that for a little bit, and then I was like, it's changing too much. I don't want to maintain this. Speaking of Omarchy, good night. All right, come on, Chris, focus. You guys, stop. We're gonna test this. We gotta test it. Let's build the release, shall we? All right, let's build a release. Don't you guys distract me anymore. We gotta test this release, and then I'll make a new version fixing this. It's not us at all. What hardware you got now? 13 Gen i7. I like Bazite better, AH. Specifically, I think I was having problems with Helldivers 2 back in the day. It's been like a year ago. And I installed the Linux Bazite kernel, and then all my problems with, I think it was like InProtect was their anti-cheat. All that went away when I switched to the Bazite kernel. I was like, all right. So that's why I've been using the Bazite kernel since. It's been really good. Ayaka theme. Okay. I do need to theme out my DWM a bit more so it has more theming. Before we go, let's go, and I'm going to close out everything. And we're going to reboot. So let's test the old reboot of the system. And you'll notice it should be much faster of a boot process from the old HP Wolf, because God, the post process on the Wolf was nuts. I'm using ASUS, but I disabled like Armory Crate and all the other BS that it has. So I didn't want to buy a new motherboard, and I already had this one. So we're just reusing what I got. These days, I'm kind of leaning towards Gigabyte is my go-to for my motherboards. I don't think I've had problems with MSI either. Asus is kind of rough. I had a bad issue with AS ROC, so I won't do AS ROC boards anymore either. So Asus and AS ROC I kind of stay away from. Yeah, MSI is pretty good. Gigabyte I've had good luck with, and I think that's my jams. That's where I kind of stick. Yeah, all of them has had issues, so it's really personal preference. But I feel like AS ROC and Asus are kind of like bottom of the barrel style systems. They just don't feel very well put together, and I don't like a lot of their update systems. Where I think Gigabyte and MSI, it's just been a little bit on the better side. All right, what do we got? All right, we got that. Let's launch this. We'll set up chat again. This looks good though. Let's pop that out. And so we come over here. I know this is kind of a pain in the butt. I kind of wanted to create an application that does this for me. Gravy. All right, that looks good. How's everything going over here? I think that's good. Stream health looks good. Nice. Oh, we still got 304. Nice. All right, cool. So we're booting pretty good. Relatively fast. It could be a lot faster because if you do a system D boot analyze here, system D analyze, and I want to say it's boot blame. Sorry. You can see network wait. This is what takes the most time, and we could change that out and not wait. But the thing that really why I wait for the boot and I just don't want to fix this is if you look at the FS tab here, we have a bunch of NFS drives that I mount, and I like to wait for the network to become available so I can mount and then reference these types of things. Even more so, I think I have... Oh, I don't on this system, actually. I have a games drive that I usually use as well from NFS. So if I run out of space, I can just load stuff directly from my NAS. But I like to wait for all that to come up and mount properly before proceeding. So that's why my boot is longer than it should. It should be, well, 33 seconds faster. But I specifically wait in that instance, so that's why. Oh, almost 1 second on the dev mapper route. Yeah, I should check that out. All right, now let's look at our virtual machine manager. We also need to go to linutil. I'm gonna actually publish this off. I think it's LL target. Let's see, what is it? Target release. Yeah. There it is at 12:37, so 5 minutes ago. Let's what's the command I was using? Oh, okay. I think I was using an SCP on this one, so we're gonna go SCP, linutil, and we're gonna push this to projects, var, www, html. This is a remote VSP server or VPS server. Yeah, that I can directly access. Now you might be thinking, how do you do that? That's an alias, so that has the two-factor and everything kind of baked into it. So it'll authenticate, it'll register like the SSH keys, everything in the background. I probably should make this more verbose so you can see what's happening. But regardless, it just kind of uploads the binary to the internet so then I can access it at any time. Let's go snapshots on this guy. Let's open it. And if we look at snapshots, let's play this snapshot. This should be a blank server install of Linux util. Unless you guys want to see me install Arch Linux server install for the gajillionth time. It takes like 2 minutes, but most people have seen that. Seen it to death. Let's go console, actually. Let's go run. And here we go. Yeah, we need to redo the Plymouth as well. Plymouth does slow things down, but I kind of like the aesthetic. Do I remember what I made the password? Oh, yeah. Real secure. Okay. Set font. Let's make this bigger so everyone can see what the hell I'm doing. Let's go 18B. All right, now let's do a wget projects. We're going to do this linutil build. Grab that. Now this is a alpha build or whatever it is. So technically, if you're in chat, you could download this. I would not recommend it though. Like, as you saw, there's been 0 testing, and that's kind of why I upload it to here, so I can test it. Then I make a public release on GitHub. Is it there though? I think it's there. Better question. Is this resolved? No, it's resolving.
Yeah, well,
Okay.
the dude
Took a while.
abides.
Spanky McSquats, thanks for the prime. Oh god, that's great. All right. All right, let's make linutil executable, and then we're gonna run linutil. All right, cool. So we got our 912 build. Actually, I gotta redo the build number on this mental note. Let's go Omarchy. All right, we're gonna grab this. Now this should fix everything. People were saying it had issues. So this one's official from a DHH. We're just using my stock Linux server install. Then we're just going to launch the toolbox. If this works, I'll go ahead and make a new version, and we'll publish that on GitHub. And then you can just run the Linux toolbox normal and install Omarchy that way if you want to go that route. Do a Linux dev URL. Yeah, I forget why I didn't set that up, or maybe I did set that up. I'll have to look that up. I'll probably do it offline just because I hate going to Cloudflare on stream. Cloudflare like doxes me every single time. I don't know why it's like that, but you know. So this is gonna just be a stock Omarchy. Because I think I'll probably 86 the Omarchy Titus install because I just don't use Omarchy anymore. Now, he did change kind of the opacity here. This is a little interesting. I do like doing Omarchy installs just to see kind of what all that's done, because, I mean, DHH is tossing a ton of money into this, and it's really interesting to see some of the ideas that come from it. He's making tiling window managers great again. He's basically opening it up to the masses, which is great. I just don't like the foundation of Omarchy being on Wayland Hyperland. That's why, I mean, if I could take Omarchy and essentially just put it in a DWM environment, that'd be my jam. Which is kind of what I'm trying to do. Is kind of take a lot of the ideas that he has, implement that here to where it's really simple and easy to do. It's a lot harder than you think, though. Or maybe you do think it's hard, but it's hard. Yeah, I don't like how bloated it is. That's my main critique, I would say. The foundation and then the bloat that gets installed with it, like LibreOffice, 1Password, some of the baked in, like the hey.com, which no one's really using that. You know, I'm sure they have a user base, but it's a very small user base. So having these like in there by default is kind of like, eh. But I get it. Like, he built it for himself, so it makes a lot of sense of why it's like that. But I think it's why I still like that he's done that is I can take it and kind of just say, oh, I don't use that. Let me revamp it to this. And it's very good in that respect. I like how he documented things, and I like the menu system. Now, I'm not using Walker in my system. I'm just using Rofi. And I kind of went through, instead of using what he did, I'm kind of taking that same premise and putting it into more legacy stuff that works really well, that's very lightweight, and should install quite easily. Now, having said that, I kind of want to do an install of DWM Titus after this just to see what that looks like for a new user. So I know I still have a lot of work to do. Okay, here we go. It is a lot of stuff. But it does have a lot of features too, so there's a little bit of... Oh, what is he doing there? He's doing a no password on the user so I can self-elevate under ASD control. What's ASD control? It would have root privs based on that.
Look, I want to say, I know you know a lot of super people, so thanks for thanking of me.
Zahn, thanks for the YouTube membership. Ah, failure. Probably from the wireless. We don't have any wireless, obviously, in this. That's kind of cool. I like the little QR code he spits out there. Let's exit, close, and it could be we're using.
I know you know a lot of super people.
Doing it.
Thanks for thanking me.
Kaiser Kloss, thanks for the YouTube membership as well. Interesting. Yeah. Well, shucks. Yeah. So that failed. Now, if we do like a linutil, I'm going to just try and batch this right on top of it. So what a linutil would look like is we would do like Ghosty, DWM, Rofi. I feel like there's one more thing I usually toss in here. Yeah, we could do a grub. Nah, I think this is fine. Looking at it, I believe that'll work. Let's just try and do this on top of the failed DWM. Might not be the best idea. Specifically, it might bypass the... No, it's going to use SDDM. Did you guys figure out what the ASD control is that he was giving root privs to? Yeah, my version's gonna just be completely different. It's a whole different beast. It should be pretty stripped down, but also have just way different sensibilities than him.
Look, I want to say, I know you know a lot of super people, so...
Yeah, thanks for becoming a YouTube
Thanks for
streamer.
thinking of me.
All right, we're gonna go Cyberpunk's my favorite for the theme. Hey, Hikari, how you doing, man? We were just talking about old Bazite. Hikari's a Bazite dev. He's also done, and I've used his projects quite a bit in the past for PCI pass-through. All right, and then we install all our dependencies for DWM Titus. It's a Linux program to control Apple device brightness control. Oh. Thanks, Abs, for looking that up. This little issue with the login screen shows 2077 as the year. Yeah. Let's see what we get. All right, well, it shows it was successful. Let's give it a reboot and see if we get SDDM login screen. Now, I could theme out Grub with that as well with the Linux utility, but we did not. Oh, that's funny. All right, let's go DWM. We could try to launch into his Hyperland. That's funny. All right, but we'll try this. Yeah. We're good. So it kind of like did a partial Omarchi install, and then we threw it on here. That's funny. What systems do we have installed here? Oh, wow. Yeah, it got a lot of his stuff installed. Not quite everything, though. Yeah. I'm doing a lot better on my install. I gotta say, it's very, very minimal. I want to refresh and do it from scratch, but also before we do that, let's, probably like a control, maybe system control queue. No, wait, no. I need to fix that. So my boot menu doesn't show on resolutions lower than 1080p. That's a bug. Let's make a bug report on that before I forget. Oh, that's gonna be DWM Titus. Let's go issues, new issue. Because someone reported that. I think it was Abs that reported that. Or no, it was Calum. Calum reported this. And I totally forgot about it. Boot menu. Oh, not boot menu. Power menu doesn't display on less than 1080p. Fix it. Let's show it. Oh, wrong. Okay. right, fix it. All right, cool. So it basically just shows like a slight opacity over it, and there should be buttons across the screen. To illustrate this, this is what it does on my system. So you should have these buttons to go through. You have lock, suspend, log out, reboot, power off. So if you click on one, ooh, I need to do like a better way of illustrating this as well, and also making this scalable. It's just little things like that, man. It just adds up. Okay. But I do enjoy the work in kind of setting all this up. That the new controller I got now has full feature Steam. Oh, yeah. I saw that, Hikari. I'm sorry I didn't respond, but yeah, I did see that post from you. It's pretty cool. I love new things getting added to Steam like that. Have you used LILO? It's an actual difference between Grub. They're set by side today. I don't think I have. I want to say it got deprecated like a decade plus ago for that bootloader. I could be wrong there, but from my understanding, most people use, obviously, Grub is probably the most popular. You got Systemd Boot. You have Refined is another big bootloader. And then Omarchi's using Lumion. I don't remember what it was now. But I think that's more from Secure Boot with encryption. And he had like a specific use case for that modern bootloader. Again, I really like Grub. I really like Grub. It's gonna be hard for me to switch. All right, this looks good. So let's wipe this out. Let's just power this off. We're gonna go to snapshots. Now I want to show you just a fresh install of DWM Titus and the differences as well. So let's run this snapshot. Then let's start the machine, go to console. All right, so this will be, we're gonna go back in time again. This is gonna be a fresh Arch install again. And I wanna just show you the differences. So let's set font to V16B. Let's make that at 18B. Let's grab the test project. Test projects got. Let's make that writable or executable. And then linutil. Okay, now you won't have to do any of this. It'll just be a curl fizzle christitus.com/Linux if you ever do this. We're gonna go V for a multi-select. We're gonna select bash prompt, Ghosty, DWM Titus, and Rofi. So these 4 selections is what we're gonna get. Let's hit yes. This should take only a little bit. You're gonna see the big difference between Omarchi and kind of what I'm trying. I'm trying to do a more minimal setup using Xorg and just a different foundation. Now, we are getting failures from the Arch repos. So let's just cancel this. Let's quit. Let's do a Pacman SYUU. All right, just updating the package and library databases. Probably because we're going from a snapshot from last install. This shouldn't be a thing. Let's try this one more time. Because you would have installed the system and then gone right into this. So you wouldn't have to do that. No, there we go. All right, now we shouldn't get any errors. We were just flushing like the install cache, because I think the install cache would have been, when did we do that install? Was that yeah, I think that install would have been a month ago, something like that. Yeah, I know, Hikari. That's kind of what we're doing here too, or AH. Yeah, we're kind of getting it done. SYY clears the installer database and kind of re-downloads and refreshes the cache. Because if the cache gets too old, you run into a bunch of download errors. Now, don't do that every time. Like some people do pacman SYY and then throw a package behind it. Don't do that. I typically try to install stuff as it goes, and if I run into server errors, I usually do a Control-C to cancel out, and then I flush the cache, then I go to install whatever it is that I'm going for. On this one, I'll select Pipewire Jack, as I always do Pipewire. You could also do SYUU. Yeah. That allows the downgrade. Now, the SDD astronaut theme that we're installing here, this was probably overkill. I just really like the project, and I like the theming of your login screen. It's probably not needed. I just enjoy it. So that's why it's there. It's not necessarily needed. But again, it's kind of like my install. So I was like, hey, if I'm redoing my system and I want to reinstall everything, I want it to be all the stuff I use. Same idea as what DHH is, just I use all different stuff. Everything I use is different. So, yeah. Yeah, you got to theme it a little bit. And I think that's the thing is, like, I really want to add themes and make it sensible, but also minimal at the same time. So, like, there's a balance that I'm going for here to where it's not installing a bunch of extra crap that you're never going to use, but it will add stuff to where you can kind of theme it out and make it look nice. And I think that's the big thing here. So we're done with the install. Let's reboot. And I don't think I have too many, ooh, you know what? This virtual machine, we probably should have reconfigured, because this is, I think I made this back on the Xeon days, and I don't have 64 gigs of RAM anymore, nor do I have 32 processor threads. Jeez, I can't remember what I had on here, but as we see, oops, wrong password. Boom. All right, we're good. We got our menu. We got our help menu that shows kind of how to use it. That's Windows and / for the key bindings. We have our terminal, maybe? Ghosty doesn't launch. What's going on with that? What do we have to choose from here? Oh, probably should have installed a browser as well. Ghosty's there, but it does not launch. But why? Let's see. Let's go 3. Let's go journal CTO. What do we got? We're missing libgtk 4, gzlib compressor set os as an error. What else do we have? So let's go sib. Yeah, let's just do a system update to fix it. Let's try it. See, this is why we should have, yeah, I think I just got lazy and did the snapshot. It would have been better if we just reinstalled the whole arch on the install instead of using the snapshot. Well, now that we know, I can blow out this whole VM after we're done. That's the problem with using an old snapshot. I'm sure you could do Omarchy and Hyper-V. Yep. Do I agree with you? So yeah, for going forward, we can do a snapshot, but only same day snapshots is what we're gonna do. Doing old snapshots is not good for Arch, which makes sense. I was just being lazy. Thanks for all your inputs on the Linux and related stuff. I'm on Endeavor Cinnamon. Now, after a long ass time of being LMDE. Feels nice, yet familiar. That's awesome, man. I always, I always say, hey, find what works for you and stick with it. That's the thing. Like, the thing about Linux, I think most people forget, is you just got to figure out what's working for you, what's not working for you, and then just change the things that don't work for you. If you don't like the browser, you don't like your file explorer, you don't like the boot, you don't like the network, whatever it is, you can change. You can change anything and everything. That's the problem. It's the solution and the problem all at the same time, because there's just infinite possibilities. So many sensibilities here. All right, now there's Ghosty. Ghosty came in perfect. And there you go. Yeah, so everything works great. Man, that's solid. It's coming together. I just got to put more time into it. Right now, we're running on an 800p. Why do you use Network Manager instead of Network D? Copper. I had that same idea, by the way. Here, I'm going to power this off. We're going to delete this. And I want to kind of talk about that because I got some opinions on that. Let's just delete this whole virtual machine. And if we go here. Okay, we just got the pass through still. Gravy. All right, cool. All right. I got some ideas. I got some ideas here. We're coming back to the big screen. Coming back to the big screen on this one. All right. So, big thing here with DWM that I'm seeing. First off, it's working really good and a minimal setup is needed. And for System D, someone asked in chat,
this is a weird one, but they asked in chat, why not just use systemd network D? Why not just, and I'm going to expand on that question too, why not just use systemd boot? Why not use, you know, resolve D for DNS? There's so many things that are in systemd. And the answer to this question is because Red Hat did a terrible job implementing these systems. They're not very good, especially compared to the other counterparts like Network Manager and other things. Now, when I say they're not very good, what do I mean by that? Well, if you know how to configure them and you're knowledgeable enough to configure them, it's not a problem. But for ease of use, it's a massive problem. So that's the issue with systemd. When you try to configure network D, yeah, it really sucks. But when you configure Network Manager, it's actually quite nice. You have NMTUI, which is the terminal user interface that you can use. You have NMCLI, which is extremely powerful. You can one-line pretty much any network configuration right into that one-line command. And it's just so easy to configure. So Network Manager to me just makes a lot of sense. It adds a little more bloat to the system because it's another package, but it's kind of a welcome quality of life for a Linux desktop user. For a server setup, probably doesn't make much sense. I mean, if you're just setting up the CLI and you want absolute base, bare minimum stripped down packages, you could go that route with Network D. But even then, I mean, I'm just kind of like, well, then you're installing systemd. Hell, you can use Alpine for a full CLI, use an OpenRC, and then partner a different protocol that just is easier to set up and also more minimal than the full systemd stack. So this is the problem with systemd is one, it's really bloated, and two, it kind of sucks to configure a lot of the different systems. Like when you're doing timers, you can set up timers for that, or a lot of people already know cron tab, so they're just going to install cronny and then install and do everything through cron tab -e and just edit those things directly. So that's kind of where I'm at. And I think I always look for the most useful tool here when we're sitting there going through everything. So when I'm setting up DWM Titus, I'm trying to find, hey, what is the easiest to configure, but also minimal? And that's why what I choose. That's why I choose Xorg instead of Wayland. It's more minimal. And it tends to work a lot better unless you need 4K resolution. You need proper scaling for those big resolutions. And you need HDR for like really graphics that pop. And some people like to say, well, Xorg has tearing. That's a skill issue. That's just configuration. So we can go through and fix a lot of that tearing for folks. And I'll make scripts for that in linutil. So that's kind of what my thoughts are for that. Yeah, I'm sure systemd timers are fine compared to cron tab. It's just cron tab's just easy. It's been there forever. It's legacy and it's very easy to use. Systemd timers, not as easy. So you can use both. I'm not saying one's worse than the other. I'm just saying one's easier to configure than the other. Maybe because I already know it, but I think if we look a little closer there, I think we can all agree it's just easier to configure with cron tab, much like Network Manager is way easier to configure than Network D. Like, it's not even close. There's no line of, I know how to configure both, and no. Any kind of complexity, Network D it falls on its face, and it's a pain in the ass to set up. So that's kind of my thought for that. That's the yapper moment of the day. I just wanted to kind of stand up, try to articulate those thoughts to you, then sitting down. I feel like I think better. I don't know. You let me know. Is there anything I missed, chat? No, everything's good. All right. Your 6-year-old YouTube on beautification on terminal using Terminator. Oh my gosh. You know, Terminator got updated not too long ago. I thought that got deprecated, but someone picked up that project. And Terminator, even though I haven't used it in years, it's still not a bad program. It's just not. It doesn't have the flair or panache. You can't view pictures inside of a Terminator terminal like you can with Ghosty, or I think Kitty does it too. And Alacrity can be, nah, Alacrity doesn't really do it. It's too minimal. So, yeah, anyways, I'm digressing. Let's get back on the desktop. I just want to take this moment to say, I hate Systemd. But I keep using Systemd just because, well, it's the standard. That's where I'm gonna leave it.
All right, we're back. Sorry. I'm gonna trying to stretch my legs in the middle of the stream a little bit more. Because sometimes I get off from my stream and I'm like, oh, we've been streaming for 4 hours and I've been sitting here doing the same thing. Oof. Need a reprieve. Oh, man, so good. Let's convert Arch to OpenRC. Actually, Lars, we did that once. I know you're kidding, but so good. Oh, man. All right, so I think we've got linutil. You can now install Omarchy using linutil on a fresh install if you want, or even on an existing install. Mileage is going to vary drastically. They seem to be changing everything about Omarchy, and I think they really just want you to do a fresh install. I'm going to leave the install option there for the manual, though. Oh, and let's make a new build. Let's go back 3. All right. What I have to say, Sensei Titus ignores us in the Windows dojo. Oh, you Windows peasants. When I'm on Linux, I'm just superior. Of course I ignore you. Till things break or I want to install and play Battlefield 6, that is. Yeah. Oh, what we got? How's it going, Chris? I just wanted to say that I recently got into Linux and I've been playing with an Ubuntu VM. You know, that's a great thing. Virtual machine to start off with is great, or use a secondary PC. I have a secondary PC that has Kali, and I'm absolutely loving using them and getting familiar with them. Your channel and videos have been a massive help, and I wanted to say I really appreciate all your hard work and you do putting in videos and streams out for the rest of us. No, man, that's great. Thanks, Nightfall. I appreciate it. I love getting those messages. I need to do more videos. I need to expand on... Oh, I even forgot to... At this very start of the stream, I wanted to expand on the Linux book as well. Let's finish this release, and then we need to talk about when motherboards change, CPUs changes, and GPUs change in your Linux install, and what you need to do to fix, whether it's a Linux boot, to fix a graphics card swap from like AMD or NVIDIA to AMD, and then Ucode or microcode installs for different architectures going from like an Intel to an AMD. All very good. Hey, what's up, Peter? All right, so let's make this new. We'll go cargo. Do we have a new version? What is today? 29th? 29. Oh boy. I exited. I'm getting a little bit better. I think it's core. Was it core? Yeah, there it is. Let's go 29. Save that out. All right, so we got those changed. Actually, let's go Omarchy. No. Let's do a grep. Omarchy. Yeah. All right, so this entry, Omarchy Rice by DHH. Yeah, that's good. And no notes. And then for the Omarchy install, very straightforward. We're just launching his script. So I'm no longer, I think I'm going to delete the Omarchy Titus script altogether. And we're just going to go stock from DHH. If you want to do Omarchy, I just recommend using that. They just are adding so much stuff and changing so much all the time that I'm kind of like, I'm out. I can't use that. It's too much. Going full Linux Nextbeard. Just can't. Oh, I know, Peter. I always love. That's the thing I think most people miss when I'm always complaining about different operating systems. And the thing I love about Linux is everything can be changed. And the thing I hate about Linux is everything can be changed. It's such a way where it can be your absolute greatest godsend, but it can also be just absolutely brutal dealing with it because nothing's really standardized. So every Linux install can look very different from one to the next. Like nothing could be the same except for the Linux kernel. And everything else can be changed. Now, it's weird too. There's like some legacy people or veterans that are like, well, technically, Titus, it's pronounced GNU Linux. And there's this weird, I haven't heard from this crowd in a while, so I can't really say anything. But I always thought it was just kind of silly because, like, if you're unfamiliar why the neckbeards call it GNU Linux, is because the GNU tool set, it uses a lot of stuff from that along with the Linux kernel. But if you're going to do that, you should technically call it GNU Linux Systemd Xorg, or Wayland, and then whatever display manager you're also using, because there's a whole different team. So if you're trying to give credit for everything that makes up a Linux distribution, it's going to be quite a long name. And technically most Linux people just suck at naming things, so it's going to be kind of weird. So it just never made sense to me to call it GNU Linux. I just was like, okay. Okay, try hard. Oh no. Wait, what? Wait a second. Did I just see this? Did Peter say... I'm going to grab that. Oh, no. Yeah, the Rust utilities are crazy, too. Wait. Switching from Arch to Gentoo. What? I consider switching from Arch to Gentoo. I only have one thing to say here. I love you, Peter, but we need to have a public service announcement. Don't do drugs. They're bad. I'm just saying. Just don't do it. No, Arch to Gentoo. I mean, if you gotta, well, you don't necessarily have to compile every program. I mean, Gentoo does, what is it, eMerge? It does actually distribute some binaries now. But it's Gentoo. Yeah, like, I don't know. I don't want to spend all my time compiling crap and grabbing dependencies. And That just, I mean, but whatever floats your boat. Like I said earlier, I'm not gonna hate. I may call you a drug user a little bit for wanting to use Gen 2, but at the end of the day, if you enjoy the computing experience, that's all that matters. That's all that matters. Or portage. Thank you, Hassan. It's portage. I misspoke. I think we need to install Gen 2 now that Peter has come in there. Makes it easy to compile. Binaries at high level software. Works well, I guess. Oh, how much am I doing, by the way? I forgot to check. We have 23 cores now, but some of those are like efficiency cores. So yeah, I need to look at that. Yeah, I have noticed, as far as the Rust thing too, with the Rust, like everything getting rewritten in Rust, it doesn't make any sense. Like, nothing's wrong with C. If it's written well in C and it doesn't have any memory leaks because people know how to use pointers, and if they're a C developer of like 20 years, I'd rather have the 20-year C developer than the 2-year Rust developer. So, like, I get making stuff memory safe, but just rewriting programs that add zero functionality just so you can say they're written in Rust. I don't understand this trend. I think I'm going to fall back on don't do drugs. That's the whole point. I don't understand any of it. Like, why are they rewriting like sudo from C to Rust? It seems like a really bad idea. Like, just basic stuff like that. I'm just like, I get it. I guess. Yeah, I don't mind. Yeah, I don't mind Rust either. Obviously, I mean, linutil is actually written in Rust, so obviously I don't care. I mean, I like this. This is really great. But I don't get. I don't understand rewriting something that's already written. It works really well. Let's just destroy everything and start over in Rust. But why? Yeah, that's what I don't understand. So the i7's actually a throwaway BCA. I actually ripped it all out of my main system, and then as I was troubleshooting my new system, I realized, oh, the motherboard and CPU are actually good. So this is actually a pretty old system that I have in here now. The power supply in my main system inside was at fault. So actually I replaced the power supply, and then I was like, crap, well, now I got this whole motherboard. And then I came out here, and then the old HP Wolf died on me, or I was having issues. And I was like, well, screw it. I'm just going to standardize everything and just go with more generic components. So that was the too long, didn't watch from earlier. Enable Nix package manager into Zero Linux toolbox. I think that's a good idea. I've always liked Nix package manager. And actually, I think I made a post specifically installing it on Steam Deck, because Steam Deck, you can only write to like the home folder in the immutable system, and it was really good. Linux util is bloated, not, yeah, of course. Everything from Phoenix is bloated. I mean, but I'm all for it. It's fine. We'll see what the end result is. We'll see what that, like they say, if don't fix it if it isn't broke. I 1000 agree with that. That's the thing. Don't just blindly update. Don't just blindly switch to something because it's new. It's just not a good idea for long-term viability. You're going to have more bugs. You're going to have less stability, and it's not great. Look at the updates. If it makes sense to you, then update. If the program doesn't need to be rewritten and the old version's working great, don't upgrade to the new version. Don't switch out to a whole different one because they say it's faster, it's better design, there's more code, whatever it might be. Just look at it and go, does that work better? Or this old one, is it working just as good and better than the new one? Because the chances are a lot of times older is better. especially in modern day. I'm finding a good trend in this too, where older is better in almost every respect, specifically when I'm in Linux. A lot of the older packages just simply are better than the new stuff that's coming out. Just depends on what your use cases are. Now, if you're needing HDR, you're needing all these things I've talked about, and it's something like new tech, and you have like a whole new system, maybe it makes sense to be on the newer stuff. But if you're running like 4 or 5 year old hardware, in my case, 3-year-old hardware, I think, doesn't matter. Banned. You're banned. Absolutely banned. Where's the ban button? No. I'm kidding. I'm kidding, AH. I know a lot of people like Wayland. I get it. I'm just not one of them. All right. Let's finish with this release. I think we've got that. We've updated the release code. Let's do cargo build release. Make sure everything builds properly. And then we'll run the publish command as well. Be careful, Wayland is highly infective. Yeah. I'm just not a fan. I've really given Wayland a lot of shots, and every time I find it to be lacking. Let's just go omarchy fix to stock DHH install script. All right, we'll push that out. Now let's do a publish. And then this will get pushed and published to crates.io. And then we'll go on GitHub. We'll create us a new linutil update. I think I actually updated Fallout 76 to... Shoot, I can't remember what I did there. Oh well, let's take a look. Oh, I need to check Cosmic Beta, Joshua. Speaking of Rust, I agree. Cosmic Beta is on my to-do list. That would be awesome. I never did label this. 1 second. This is Fallout 76 custom INI and mod list auto installer. I do need to, if any Bethesda games, I'm going to create like a Moto Auto, like its own repo, and then people can steal, clone, whatever from my repos, and then kind of customize it to their needs. But I find this is really nice instead of using like a mod manager and all that other crap, and I can just update the files and then just push it out, and then anytime I'm on my Steam Deck or I'm on my main system, I can just hit update, and then it just installs all my mods. And that works for any Bethesda game because they're all pretty much coded with the, what is that crappy engine they use? Creative Engine? Whatever it is, it's all the same. All right, so that's fine. And linutil. Here we go. So let's create us a new release. What releases do we have right now? We're doing... Oh, yeah, I changed the file iteration for that. So Fallout 76. And then also the reverting omarchy to stock. Let's delete this pre-release. And then let's create us a new one. Yeah, Cosmic's definitely Wayland. Isn't it? Do you trust Starship for your bash prompt? Isn't it Russian closed source? I don't think so. Chat? What do we got? Starship. I thought that was open source. Is it not? What did I miss? Ew. This is actually not correct. Well, the error isn't. So, whatever. We'll make an exemption. What else we got? Let's look. Ah, hell, let's go ahead and do the exemption. I hate it when my workflows fail. What do you think of Ex Libre? I think it's interesting. We'll see what they actually come up with. If they could add like HDR support, and if they could add really good scaling with like maybe high res support, what people use Wayland for, and maybe fix by the stock defaults. I think they already did this. They added a tear free as the stock setting, so everything's tear free instead of using like the legacy one. So I could see a world where everything moves to Ex Libre from an Xorg perspective if it's developed well. The problem I see with Ex Libre is when I check the repo, it kind of gives me a little pause. I can't remember what it was. I think I was looking at how they do their commits, and I was like, there's so many direct commits here. It's just like, I don't know. And maybe it's just, I don't know. It's weird, just kind of weird, man. Pull requests. It just seems like there's just so much spam with the PRs and commits that I'm just like iffy whether or not he knows how to maintain the repo properly. And it's like a time will tell kind of thing. Let's see where this is in a year. And if it's there, it's competent, it adds a lot of really good additions to Xorg, and it's able to add these features I just talked about, and it's still very reliable. And yeah, it could succeed very well. But what I'm seeing here is kind of like I don't know. It seems more like it might be more of a political fork kind of thing. We'll see. Because I know a lot of his commits to the official free desktop version of Xorg got reverted because the code was bad, apparently. Who's right? I don't know enough about this to tell and say, yes, this person versus this person. I just look at it and go, well, it might work out, but it might not. And it's like, well, let's give it a year or two, see what happens. It could be great, and I would love it to get more features because I do like Xorg a lot better from Wayland in the long term. I think Wayland is just frankly not very good and kind of bloated. It feels bad when I install it, and I feel like there's a better solution here. And everyone's saying, well, Wayland's designed from the ground up and it's just a more intuitive. I'm just not seeing that. Its implementation, I think, is poor. And Xorg is more stable for me in every instance I've tried. So, yeah. It's kind of my thoughts. Did you see this? It was made by AI, a programming language, cursedlang.org. What is this? Yeah, both code is probably bad. Yeah, true. What do we got? I ran Claude in a loop for 3 months and it created a Gen Z programming language called Cursed. Huh. No. But why would you do that? But it exists. Why? I don't really know. I will not be trying that out anytime soon. Yeet, slay, sus, normie, bestie, ready. No. Ready is if, otherwise is else. Bestie for. Period T is while. Vibe check is switch. Mood is case. Oh my word. Yeah, that's a big WTF. No cap. ... on God. Block comment. Oh my gosh. Based equals true. Cringe equals false. Nah is nil. Okay. Cool, I guess. Yeah, that's something. That is something, I tell you what. Let's go file, open recent, and we're gonna pull in linutil. Now I think we have errors in the, what was it, the Fallout script I needed to omit. Proof Wayland sucks. Oh man. All right. You baited me.
In 2008, development started on Wayland, the sequel or replacement for the X protocol for doing window
Dude, this guy
management
is a 2x
and
speeder for
graphical
sure.
applications on Linux and other Unix-like operating systems. It has been more than a decade since then. And
Actually,
only now Wayland is coming into maturity where it's widely
we need to
used
go above.
by the Linux world. This should strike you as extremely embarrassing. Dealing with graphics cards is maybe slightly more complicated, but in general, being able to have a windowing environment based on shared memory is something that should have taken months, not years. The evidence I have for this is that I have just recently made this windowing environment for my operating system Serena, and it did not take that long at all. It's tremendously simpler than Wayland. Here I can show this off. I have this terminal. I can, of course, start a shell from inside the shell. Now if I do stuff in here, you can see the standard out. It's happening. I can kill this program.
This guy is the slowest talker in the world. That's insane. I'm at like 2.6, 2.3.
We have windows. We have workspaces. I can full screen this. And things work as you expect. I can print out a documentation, piece of documentation like this. Whoops. Say the compiler docs here. I can print that out. Works as you would expect. This was not hard to do. It's simple shared memory. There is an OS feature here that's enabling this, which is slightly unique to Serenum, but you could probably develop something reasonably similar if you tried on other Unix.
I can still understand it at 2.5. I'm sorry. I don't think I'm paying that much attention to him. I'm just like, good night. Your speaking cadence is insane. Like, that is wild. That'd be like, and now I am painting the pants blue. And what in the world, dude? Come on. What? Oh, okay, Swedish. Okay, sorry. I'm sorry. Okay. Pass. I'm sorry. That was terrible. It's terrible. All right.
Not Unix-like at all. That's why it's fundamentally better, I would argue, but that's neither here nor there.
I mean, I will say, for him being Swedish, he sounds American. Very good. Well, British. Like a mixture of like a British person that's been in America for 5 years. That's what he sounds like, which is great. That's a high praise. That's a good compliment. Just speaks a little slow.
This works is I will exit out of now this environment to talk about how this works and how maybe you could program this yourself if you are a Serena user. We have, let's take a look at the shell. So the shell opens here in its main function, and it runs this procedure. This is called find PIP. This is inter-process procedure call or something, you specify this name. I'm going to rename this later, but for now it's the window manager temp protocol. What happens is in the sort of process hierarchy, we have the window manager up here, and it spawns the shell underneath. Let's see, I do this, okay? It spawns the shell A, okay? Shell A then asks, hey, I want to speak the window manager temp protocol. And so we do a walk up the process hierarchy. We go to the first parent, then the second parent, third parent, looking for somebody who advertises that they speak this protocol. In this case, that's just the window manager, so it's a single hop here. Then a connection is established between these two. So there's start a job, you can imagine that. There's a connection that gets put in where both parties are aware of each other, and we get this alien handle back. Now, the way this alien handle works is that we use this to perform syscalls, right? People are used to the idea of syscalls. You can do a syscall into the kernel, it doesn't stuff, it comes back. Here, we do a syscall but into the parent process. So the syscall here is very basic. We literally just say window manager temp get window. Now, if I find this is somewhere down here, yeah, here we go. This one is actually a dud. This isn't useful. This is how simple it is. The assembly. We say get window. We put into register T1. We put the ID of the syscall that's not a syscall. And then we call this syscall, but it actually then goes into the other process. It goes into the other process, and then it comes back. Okay, and what happens then is the parent process, the window manager sees, somebody is connecting. First of all, somebody has established this connection, and then I'm receiving a syscall into me requesting to create a new window. So it creates a new window. There is a backing struct, some memory, some shared memory that's built that includes the window buffers, a circular buffer for key presses.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I'm not gonna watch this whole thing. And by the way, this is how he speaks at 1x.
That looks like this. This is named creatively. It's called the dumb frame. And then what's given back as to the shell process is this handle, so the allocation handle. You then use this, you map this into your address space. And now both of the processes have shared memory they can use to communicate. And then the rendering is as simple as, both parties touch this struct to communicate on rendering. Here's the ring buffer for the key presses. Here are the two frame buffers. For speed, there are these dirty bits that are used to say, what did I actually change, so that the window manager can do very, very excessive partial rendering for more speed. We communicate that, we coordinate on...
Yeah, I think this is like interesting. Like it is definitely interesting. I think there's a lot more nuance here. I do like this comment here. Having graphics on 800 by 600 on a 4K display with completely useless font rendering library, I don't think that's going to fly with the general populace. There's a lot of little nuance. Like making things look good is important, and I think that's lost on a lot of programmers, where this looks atrocious. Like what he's doing with the 4:3 ratio and a just absolute awful font. This looks like just stock console S font from like Windows. It's just terrible. So yeah, I'm sure you can rewrite it and make it more succinct and then drop a lot of the things from Wayland, which don't get me wrong, I'm not defending Wayland. I know it probably can be written better. I'm just saying that ain't it. Like you need to demonstrate how it's a lot better, and demonstrating with a really, really terrible font at 4:3 ratio ain't it. So that's my hot take on it. I know that's not what Phoenix will like, but you're here. That's my knee-jerk reaction to it. And I think this is a very, very good point too. To be fair to Sam, his thoughts are more complicated than Chris's and mine. 1000% agree. He knows way more than I do, so I can't really speak to that. I can just tell him from a presentation standpoint, there's a lot to be desired with how he presented his findings in that video. I'm sure his findings are good, and I'm sure someone that really is in Wayland day in and day out could probably pick that apart, probably pick some good nuggets from it. But the normal person that looks at that video is going to go, I'm out. This is crazy from a look and whatnot. So that's a thought. But I do love, like, that's a thing I have to reiterate here, is I do love the passion in Linux. And I love that there's people like that just go, I don't like this window manager, or I don't like this compositor. I don't like the way it's done, and I don't like Xorg, and I don't like Wayland. hell, I'm just going to write my own. I'm just going to redo it all and rewrite this whole thing. I think that's amazing. And I love it. So you have to be a little bit off. You have to be a little nuts and also be kind of brilliant at the same time to do that. But a lot of people in Linux are like that. And I think that's great. So as much as I might come down on them and be like, oh, God, who's going to use that? It's so cool that it still exists. So, yeah. Oh, watch this. Let's see what he got.
All right, so we want to write our own programming language.
Let's create a compiler,
so we're gonna
part
write a
one.
compiler. But now people might think of a compiler as this like magical
We can refactor it
special
later.
program that's separate from any other kind of application. But it's actually just a standard application, just like
Okay, yeah. 1 hour and 11 minutes, guys. I can't. That's gonna be, it's gonna be well into my workout time. But I will save it for later there, Peter. Oh man. So cool though. Eccentricity is cool. Okay, yeah, I'll check it out, Peter. That's just part one of the series. This is so cool. Let's write our own compiler. Let's write our own language. God bless. Yeah, you gotta love the creativity. I think that's the coolest thing, is everything and anything is possible. And while it may not make sense to me or it may not make sense to you, I think that's the coolest part about it. And like a lot of like, to use it in how I see things right now is like linutil, DWM Titus that I'm kind of working on here. A lot of it, people may, I eventually want more people to use it. Obviously open it up to the general and then really pour more stuff into it and really make it to where it really helps a lot of people is my idea. And like DWM Titus, I kind of dropped for a little bit there because I was like, oh yeah, I don't want to mess with it. And it doesn't feel like anybody but me is going to use this. And then Omarchy came along. And Omarchy really opened up my eyes to, no, you can do it. Like, and I looked at it and I was like, oh, look, DHH, a brand new Linux user, obviously very, very intelligent person, but a brand new Linux person can just jump in and start to jam out a new distro in a tiling window manager in a way that normal people can use it. Well, shit, I can do that. And that's when I was like, no, I need to spend more time on DWM Titus, because I feel like if I could take how I use my system and then make it available for everyone easily, they're going to love my setup. And that's kind of where I'm at, where I'm like, let me just keep my head down, keep going at it and see what I can come up with, because I think we're very, very close. Oh, by the way, I do need to make these exclusions before I forget. Where is that? We got some problems, but what was it? Common scripts, no, that's fine. We can ignore. Oh, it's under Wi-Fi control. Oh, where did I put my scripts? I think it was tabs. So tabs, utils, Wi-Fi control. Goes back one directory. There's common script right there. Huh. So util functions. Let's go back 2 directories. Well, that's actually wrong. Should be 1 directory. Huh. Okay, that's fine. Okay, sorry, I got a little sidetracked there. Found another bug. All right, now if we go into here, let's fix this up. Now this is under 2 directories. That's good. Surrounding quotes actually unquote this, remove or escape them. Oh, this is a whole different one. Ah, come on. I'll focus on that. I need to fix that up too. Goodness, so much to do. So much to do. All right. Zeroed in. Let me fix this, and then we're going to get this compile working properly. All right, let's go back to this. When was it going for check typos? We got line 174, 175, 176. All right, 174, 175, 176. So this is FO76 path. How about we just change this entire thing to game path, game common path, and then people can redo the script for other games and still use it. There's no reason to make this a specific variable with FO6. Now, when we do the loop for the game compat path, what's that loop look like? Steam app directories, compat data path. Okay. So let's just go. Instead of FO76, we're going to go common data path. That feels better. I need to also disable the cspell function. It's kind of annoying. Let's see. Check exit code directly with if not indirectly with $question. Okay. Let's copy that. All right, cool. Yeah, I know. Fallout games, they're terrible. Oh, Peter, I meant to tell you, I got your message too on Hollow Knight. It's been my daughter playing that. I haven't actually loaded it up and played it myself. It's kind of funny. So I've been bad lately. I've been just playing Fallout. I'm like, not even a good Fallout either. Dirty, money-hungry, grubby Bethesda Fallout 76 version. I know, I'm terrible. Absolutely atrocious. But as long as you're having fun, I think I am. All right, that's fine. Common script's fine. Yep, we're going 2 directories. Do we have any other shell check errors? I do not see any other shell check. All right, we should be good. Fix shell check errors. Commit anyways, push. Oh man, how is everybody doing on Path of Exile, by the way? Everyone moved to Path of Exile 2, or are people still playing 1? What's the deal with that? I didn't buy Path of Exile 2. I'm so cheap, I'm just waiting for it to go free. I don't know if it even is gonna be free. Number one reason why Chris uses VS Code, AI help. Can neither confirm nor deny that fact. I do like the Git implementation in VS Code as well. So it's not all that way. All right. Let's come back to actions. It should be all green now. PoE 2 is becoming more and more like PoE 1. That makes sense. Also add the double dash counter. Okay. Yeah, I haven't streamed a game on the channel in forever. Gravy. All right, we got all green check marks, which I like. I know sometimes people don't like unit tests, and sometimes it's kind of annoying in this respect because it was shell check. The unit test was like messing up because it saw FO 76 underscore path as a 4 with missing an R or something like that. So it like errored when it wasn't a valid error, but it's kind of like, well, I'll just rewrite that. It's probably not a good variable name anyways, so I made it something more practical. And it does end up catching a lot of things. So I do really like unit tests, sensible unit tests, not like I don't want like 20 checks, but I think just standard shell check errors is just good. More often than not, it does catch errors that I would have missed, and then I would have published to release, and then people would have been like, hey, your dev branch doesn't work because this is a problem. Now, it doesn't fix logic errors, and there's times when I do screw up and have some bad logic, and then people yell at me in my Discord and say, hey, Titus, this is bad. But for the most part, it's pretty good. All right, let's go. Do I do release? I think it is. What's the preview? Oh, crap. I forgot about the preview. Let's fix the preview real fast. Sorry about you. This is cool. This is a really neat thing. Like if we go GitHub, workflows, preview. This uses something called, you guys have heard of charm bracelets like Gum and other things. Gum is actually what DHH uses for his installer. Well, charm bracelet also has something called VHS action. It is super cool. It essentially like records through a VM on the CLI a full like iteration of commands. And if you look at the git.git preview tape from this, so if you go GitHub and preview tape right here, it will actually set resolution, font, and then it will do a sequence of commands and show that and record it and then put it into like a GIF file. It's such a weird, obscure project, but it's made by the Charm Bracelet team and blows my mind. It's so good. Except it's failing right now. But why? Let's see. Have you seen Brody's latest video? Apparently someone hosted a web server on the chip of a $10 disposable vape, and the site is up and running. Oh my gosh. It's such a Linux user type of thing to do. So cool. Failed to install FFmpeg. Ew. I don't think we need to actually change anything. Installing the latest FFmpeg. I wonder why. Let's see what old AI says. The greatest Google search of all time. Why during this GitHub action does happen? GUIs are bloat, TUI for the win. Well, that's fair. That's fair. Add explicit FFmpeg installation.
The dude abides.
Fat bastard. Thanks for the gifted sub, man. Much appreciated. All right. I don't like this method. What's the other one? Update newer version of VHS action available. 2.2. Oh, that's what's happening. Let's check this out. I bet this is wrong too, but it does tell us what's wrong. So this is why, like, sometimes people go a little crazy with the git commits and just run an agent mode all the time with their AI buddy. I like to use AI more from a Google standpoint, and it kind of gives you hints in what the hell's going on. So what do we got? What version are we on? 2.1 is right here, but in May 28, 2024, we have 2.1. Well, that's not helpful. Unless it was 1.1. Well, darn it. That's correct. Unfortunate. So that means the project might be broken. Oh, first issue here. Okay. Oh. So just you install it as its own step. Okay. All right. Well, that's fine. We'll just do that. Well, that's why we look it up. This is all wrong. So before we do the generate preview, we set the environment. We've downloaded the binary. So tag name. Yeah. Is this doing a build? It is not doing a build. Okay. Install FFmpeg. It is doing 2.1, which is fine. All right, let's try that. Graphics, Linutil, preview. Oh no. No. Commit anyways. The most actively maintained fork of VHS Action appears to be Skatov. Really, BRD? What? What a great name. I love his profile pic. From Stripes. You're awesome. All right, what do you got? VHS Action. What's he doing? Let's go repos. VHS. It's fork-VSS Action. 0 stars. Last update was 4 months ago. Interesting. Yeah, I'm going to use the official branch for now, but yeah. It's good to know. There's always somebody to pick up the slack. All right, now let's go back to our preview. Let's go summary. We're going to go to Linutil preview. We're going to trigger it, try to manually run it real fast. Actually, shoot, let's just do a full-blown release. I'm pretty sure that'll fix it. I think it's good enough. Who wins a fight between Steven Seagal and Van Damme? Oof. Be interesting. Well, obviously today, but in fighting 1986, I don't know. Probably Van Damme. That's who I'd have my money on. But I don't know. Seagal has, I think, quite a bit bigger. Back before he gained all the weight. He'd probably just sit on him now. If he could catch him. If I was Van Damme, I would just go in a circle until he got dizzy and fainted. Seagal runs like who was I watching? Who's on YouTube? Who's the famous YouTuber that always covers the B movie, like 2010 plus Steven Seagal? Is it Ice Poseidon? God, when I want to watch some like trash TV, that's what I watch. Because man, the commentary was on point. Oh. Oh yeah. Ice Poseidon does the live. Oh my god, he's hilarious. That's such a good niche that he's kind of ironed out so good. Oh man, love it. All right, here we go. Now, let's set if it sets the environment properly coming up. Oh, actually, I don't know if this triggers. I think it'll trigger the preview after we finish the build, actually. So let's finish. The build's almost done, and then we'll check the preview. Yeah, I think one of the best, like, from the martial arts on screen, was it Michael White? I think it is. And I know he actually can like fight. So I think he'd be like the guy that would dominate, because I know Seagal kind of ran into something with him, and then he was just like, hey, Seagal, if you come at me, you hit me for real, I'm going to hit you for real. And then Seagal was like just scared to death of him and would like run into his trailer. Yeah, Michael J. White. That's it. He looks like he could mess somebody up. All right, here we go. Now let's go to our actions. How's our preview looking? Here it goes. It's running. We're generating. It's installing FFmpeg manually. I feel too old for this chat. Oh, man. Dang it. Death. Dang it. What do we do here? Did I set this incorrectly? I think I jumped the gun on the MPEG. Download the binary, set the environment. I guess I shouldn't have set the environment before doing the preview. It doesn't feel right to me. Well, hell, let's try it. Doesn't hurt anything. Is there anything wrong with that? Man, I don't even speak English very good, Peter. Me learning a second language. I know enough in like several different languages to kind of do certain tasks, but that's about it. I'm not fluent in any other language. Yeah, I probably should. I probably should for sure. Let's change this out. I just don't see the order of operations making a difference here. I think it's something in the VHS action
Look,
when
I
it
wanna
uses
say,
it. I think
I
that's
know you
what's
know a
really
lot of
causing the
super
problem.
people, so thanks for thanking me.
David, thanks for joining the YouTube members. Let's run it. I mean, it couldn't hurt anything. Move the FFmpeg. Install after set environment. Let's commit, push, and then come back into here.
Yeah, well,
And we'll do it.
the dude abides.
Fear, thanks for the prime. That's fine. And then we're gonna go to preview. Let's run this. Tag name. Why? Why does that need a tag? Let's look at the workflow. Get tag name. Set tag name. Change this to just use the most recent tag created in the repo. Yeah, Spanish is actually pretty easy. I took a couple years of Spanish. Can't speak it that well at all. I mean, I can ask where the bathroom is or where the library is. Where donde es biblioteca? But yeah. But yeah, no, I don't speak that well. Where's my preview? So, looking at your GitHub workflow, you may want to simplify it to always use the most recent tag. Here's how you could do it. Get latest tag. GitHub script v7, script awaits, script tag name, set tag name. Okay. Let's just copy that. Get and set. Why did they set it for both the run and dispatch? What's going on here? So echo tag name, workflow run, workflow dispatch. Huh. Let's fix that. Old YAML. Gotta love the YAML. The yams. All right. And then under here, workflow run, you got the linutil release, types completed. Here we go. Inputs. Let's get rid of the inputs. So workflow dispatch is nothing. Actually, you don't even need dispatch, I don't believe. I think you can just do workflow run, nothing on the dispatch. Although if you don't have a dispatch, I don't believe it can manually be triggered. So you kind of want to add a dispatch that's blank. We can verify this with the release YAML. And if we look at release YAML, nope. Where you at? Where you at? That's not it. There it is. Yeah. That's precisely what's going on. Okay. Cool. So let's close others. And we'll just go release dispatch like that. Now it'll just grab the latest tag. It's not going to create a whole new tag or anything like that. That was kind of silly. Don't know why I did that. All right, fix preview trigger. Let's commit that. Now we should be good. So now we've got that. Go linutil preview. Let's run the workflow. Bam. Now it'll fire off without asking me for a tag. Give it a couple seconds. Any minute now. There it goes. Now we can just sit here and try it as we need. I still think it's gonna fail. I think it's something with the charm bracelet YAML, but we're gonna go back to that issue tracker and see what happens. All right, here we go. I'm hoping the set environment beforehand will keep this all in line. I still think it's not going to work though. Maybe it will. Next up, I think we could try the environment. I think is Ubuntu 22 probably, and switching that to like an Ubuntu 24 might be the fix. Yeah. So what ends up happening is when the charm bracelet VHS action run starts, we get a failure because it runs into FFmpeg and then can't install the version whatever it's requesting, I want to say. But if it's already installed in the environment, it should just see that it's installed and then just omit the installation and just go push forward without needing that specific version. Pretty sure. We're about to find out. All right, here we go. And yeah, that's exactly what I thought. Failed to install FFmpeg. Let's go VHS action. I want to look at that issue one more time because someone put on here specifically for a workaround. We did this, see this release YAML. Check out repo. Then they manually did the update. Then they added FFmpeg and TTYD. Then they did a go install VHS Moby tag auth.tape. Okay. That's one way of doing it. Just directly go installing it instead of running the actual action. That makes sense. Yeah, let's do that. So we're going to copy that. I figured that would fail. So we're going to come down to where we run the action. So we set the environment. For the generating of the preview, if you look, generate preview, what triggers this? Then we can just name it and then do run. Yeah. Ah. That might work. Nah, all right. Then we move the preview GIF into got there. Boom, create the PR, should be good. Yeah, I'm feeling all right about that, I guess. Let's give that a whirl. All right, great. All right, update VHS action. I know this is kind of crazy, but whatevs. I really want this to work because I don't want to be remaking the GIF manually. That just sucks. I like automation. Oh yeah, Peter. My daughter loves it. I think we bought the deluxe edition of Silksong. I was kind of surprised by how cheap Silksong was. Silksong was only $30, I think it was. And that was like with the deluxe edition with the soundtrack. It was only $20 without the regular. I think I'm going to buy it again on GOG. Because GOG... I'm trying to move most of my game library to GOG from Steam. At least the games that I play, that I can play on GOG. Yeah. Okay, so now we got that. Let's come back. I know, man. Gosh. I tell you what. GitHub Actions can be just maddening sometimes. But man, when they work, it's so nice and it saves so much time and it adds so much protection to a project that it's worth spending the time to get these going. You did a PR in Linutel? Add network manager to DWM Titus. Oh, do I not have network manager in there? Hey, really? Network manager applet. What's that? Network manager applet. Applet for managing network. I don't even have that installed on my system. I wonder what that is. Is it like a GUI app? Huh. Oh, yeah. Let's come back. Looks good. Just making sure it wasn't like on an AUR or anything. All right. Let's come into actions. Damn it. What happened? Oh. VHS command not found. Oh, what happened here? So it didn't find the VHS command after doing the go install. VHS command not found. Yeah. No, I agree with you, Peter. I've really come around. Peter, I don't think I mentioned on DWM, you're going to like this. So you see how I have all these workspaces up at the top and how it recognizes all these? One, I added dual monitor support to my DWM fork, but also look at my resources. Actually, not there. Let's go B-top. Yes. Oh, thank you, my sweet. Oh, thank you.
I sent you a text. You should read it.
Oh, this is important? You sent me a text?
I did.
Okay.
It's
Oh, no. Let's see. Oh, yeah.
okay.
All right. Oh, but sorry, I got distracted. So on this EWMH, I actually baked in. So anytime you change your workspace in DWM, it adds a variable to the Xorg servers. And when you need to, like, I'm actually ended up doing polybar for this, but instead of like doing scripts and some people do like other calls that constantly run in the background. This takes up like CPU usage and all this other stuff. Instead, Polybar will not use any scripts, won't use any of that. Instead of like how DWM blocks does it, is kind of inefficient as well. I mean, it's better than running like a bash script like some people do. That's just like super archaic. And this can actually go, oh, you need to know when you go to this workspace what's happening. It can actually look, and every single window has extra variables that are set by DWM to let Polybar and DWM to know, hey, this is what's going on with all these different windows. So then you can see what's the active workspace, what's going on, but it's not actually running scripts to determine that. It just sees it as the variable of their using Xorg's xprop. So like when you use xprop, how I did this, like xprop, sorry, let's just grab this window. So you'll see my xprop's going to look a lot different than your xprop. If you look over here, it'll let you know, one, the actual workspace that you're in, which is 2, it goes from 0, so it's actually 3. You can also see, I think I added extra things here too to let you kind of know what's going on, like the naming, window name, and the classes are set as well. I want to say I also put out the other specific ones as well. I'm not seeing it here. Maybe I need to do another poll. I might need to rebuild, because I think I added some other things that showcase what's happening on the other stations too. But anyways, really building out xprop to hold all the variables for the window manager, so it utilizes Xserver without having to do any kind of weird workarounds. So it works really fast, really efficient, and minimal at the end of the day, which is great. Yeah, Atoms. That's right, Phoenix. Maybe added display mode can be debugged for broken games. So yeah, and that's the thing, like we can just build this out a little bit more and I think it'll be great. I think it'll be just awesome. Anyways, let's see what happened here. Okay, the issue is VHS command is not in the path of the installation. Packages with go install are placed in go path bin or home go bin by default, which is not in the path. So you could use the full path to the VHS binary. And let's just export it. Well, actually, I like that. That's clean enough. So we're just going to reference the full path name, and then it should be fine. God, how many commits am I going to do here? Git go path. Ugh. Yeah, man, it's really starting to come along though. And yeah, DWM, I'm just trying to keep it at a minimal state to where it's not using any resources at all and stays at just very, very, very small amount of usage. And it just feels great when I use it. And that's what I kind of want. So, all right, this is going to be the last run. This is going to be the last run, y'all. Pray it works. I've got a good feeling about this one. Yeah, this is a tiling window manager. This is the OG. The one that started so many. The best tiling window manager ever created on Linux. The one, the only, DWM. If you can't do it in DWM, just means it's a skill issue. You having a problem with it? Skill issue. Literally, that's every DWM person. If you want it done, you can just code it yourself. Oh. Oh yeah. She'll be doing speed running in Steel Soul. She did. That's actually the achievements on my profile. That was actually her. I never did finish with Steel Soul. Yeah, Dagger, I agree. Like that's so cool about DHH's Omarchy. And that's kind of what I'm trying to do with this setup, but what I choose is so different from what DHH chooses. I'm trying to make it to where it can be installed on any system and is easy to set up as Omarchy. So at the end of hopefully DWM Titus, I can get to a spot where anybody can install it. It's stupid minimal. Like it's going to install 1/10 of the packages that Omarchy's installing. It's going to be very minimal, but very feature rich as well when it comes to having like a help guide. So when you go, there's all your key bindings. Hey, how do I power things down? Oh, super control Q for the power menu. And just have it all right there baked in. And then I'll make a manual for it too online. I think we can do this to a spot to where it just works really, really well. And I'm here for it. So we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, once you learn a tiling window manager and you get like all your bindings and everything programmed into your brain, wow, it feels so good. Like a lot of people don't realize how much that like unlocks your productivity, just how fast it is. It's so darn good. So I get that, man. And that's why I always have a hard time leaving DWM, because I tried Omarchi and I was like, oh, this is really good. And I really love so many things that he did. But at the end of the day, I was kind of like, but my tiling window manager is faster. It's just has all the things I need. Why am I using all this extra stuff? And I don't necessarily like Hyperland and all the extra crap that comes with it, to where I was like, I'm just going to go back to DWM. It's not to say like this is better for everyone, because probably there's some things with the Omarchi where it's just, they throw everything in the kitchen sink at you. And I feel like I could carve out like 90% of the people into this type of setup, and then more people could use it and go, oh wow, that's minimal and it's fast and it's sensible. But at the end of the day, it's, well, can I produce that or can't I? I don't know. Son of a... Oh, wait. That's right. That's just a branch policy thing. We fixed it. It's still failing, but we fixed it. It's just the settings in the branch policy. I need to fix that. I just haven't gone through my permissions to do that yet. I'll get to it though. All right, that's looking good. All right, y'all. I think we're gonna shut it down today. I think we got a lot done. Not a lot, but we got something done. And I'll keep doing it. Tuesday, tomorrow, we will do Windows. We're doing Monday Linux, Tuesday Windows, and then Thursday's Mac. And we're going to try that for a good month. See how we like the switching between and making specific days for specific operating systems and their projects. I kind of like it because it forces me to get out and like not just ignore one. I'm looking at you, Mac OS. And it can kind of draw in different ideas and different things going around. So it's kind of cool. I really like it. But yes, Mac OS. I know. I'm terrible. But all right, guys. Yeah, everyone have a great day. I will see y'all tomorrow. I'll try and start a little earlier tomorrow because it felt like I ran out of time today. And yeah, man, maybe I'd add another day in there somewhere. Maybe if I'm not doing anything on the weekend sometime, I definitely will, but I'm usually doing something. So, all right, y'all, have a great one. See you all on Tuesday, tomorrow, for some Windows.